getting here right on time. You're here for the Future of AI Summit, but I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room here. You've had 24 hours to digest the results of the presidential election and across the US. In your own state, there was a massive swing. It went for Kamala Harris, but there was a massive swing to Trump. So what do you think the result says about both the electorate and where they are, and for your own party, the Democrat Party, what you have to do to speak to?
Yeah, it's good. First of all, it's good to be here. Secondly, quite a shockwave for sure in America, and I think a day of reckoning for my party, a sober day. And you're absolutely right. In my state of New Jersey, which is a very blue state for presidential elections, the swing was 12 points from what Joe Biden won by to what Kamala Harris won by. Incidentally, it had very little impact down ballot, so we still won most of the races we were expecting to win down ballot. But as a nation, it's seismic, and it will impact not just our nation, but relations with the UK and around the world. This is a guy. I was governor for my first 3 years, overlapped with the Trump administration. So you're constantly, on the one hand, fighting, and on the other hand, trying to find common ground. And we did a fair amount of both. And my guess is I've got one more year, beginning in January. My guess is you'll see a round 2 of that. A lot of fighting and pushing back if our values are attacked or our communities are attacked. Things that he talks about, mass deportation, reproductive freedom curtailments, among other pretty dire statements. The last thing, and then on the other hand, you're trying to find common ground. So he and I know each other, and that's probably a good place to start. That gets me no votes in my party, by the way, but it is a fact. I just would say one last thing, and so the jury's out on the following. A lot of people, when they run for office, say things to get elected, not necessarily consistent with how they actually govern. So it's going to be interesting to see in this case, is he actually going to do what he said he said on the campaign trail, or was that to get his base fired up and he's going to tack in from there? If you're concerned about that, you should be doubly concerned that his party won the U.S. Senate, because that's where all the personnel gets put through. So judges, Secretary of State, cabinet positions more generally. That combination, if he in fact is going to be the leader he professed to be on the campaign trail, that's going to be quite a combination. And stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, we very much will. We are here for the Future of AI Summit. So what do you think the new administration are likely to do on policy around AI? President Biden passed an executive order, very much focused on safety and national security concerned. President Trump has said he's going to reverse that executive order. What do you think we're likely to see in this sphere?
It has not been a big topic on the campaign trail. So, and he had a fair amount of support in the tech world. So if we were to look for a concern, it would be the sort of last discussion of the prior panel. What are you going to do to protect the consumer? What guardrails are you willing to put in place? My gut tells me, as a general matter, a Republican president is going to be on a less regulatory side of things. I don't see any reason why he won't be in that camp. But that's, if you're looking for concern, it would be lack of guardrails, lack of protections, if I had to predict. But I would also say it wasn't a big topic on the campaign trail. It was mentioned, but mentioned only in passing. And again, he's surrounded himself with a lot of the so-called tech bros. So my guess is it will be off to the races as it relates to development of the realm.
So you're not here because you've decided to take a flight to London straight away, straight after the presidential election here.
Yeah, particularly this one.
Yeah, we need to check if you're taking a return flight. But you're here on an economic mission.
We are.
And you want to make New Jersey home for AI development, and you think there are trade relationships that you can build with the UK, Europe, and beyond. What makes you think that this is possible for you?
Yeah, I think whoever you are, as a person, as a company, as an institution, as a government, you have to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and be very sober about who you are, who you're not, what you can be, what you can't be. And when we look in the mirror in New Jersey, we see talent, innovation economy, highly desirable location, and a rich legacy of, Thomas Edison, Bell Labs. New Jersey continues to be a big center for tech, telecom, life sciences, bio, increasingly green economy, fintech, and so film and television and digital. So, I'd love to think we can make cars and trucks again in New Jersey. I'll probably die trying to do that, but my guess is I will die, in fact, before that happens. But we think we have a big generative AI opportunity. We start in a very good place. The First Lady, my wife, Tammy Murphy, may want to raise her hand behind that gentleman with the camera. We went out and had a seminal meeting with a bunch of the leaders in the industry just about a couple of years ago, and we walked away feeling like we had the pieces in place. For instance, we've already announced a big joint venture with Princeton University. Dean Craig Arnold is in the house. Princeton is one of the premier universities, if not the premier university in the world, but particularly in the STEM fields, engineering, plasma physics, all the stuff that I couldn't pass. But you're known by the company you keep, and the fact that the state of New Jersey is in business with Princeton University is a statement, a volitional, intentional statement that we mean business around the development of this realm. And we're already seeing evidence of it.
And in your state, you've already made moves to try and take advantage. I mean, it's a competitive area within the 50 states, let alone around the world. You've passed state-level legislation. You've enacted, I think it's fair to say, tax breaks for
Tax incentives.
We use different language, but
It sounds smarter to say incentives, more syllables, a little bit more sophisticated. Although we're from New Jersey, and if you know New Jersey, you're probably surprised we're not just literally putting cash in your pocket.
We've seen the movies.
Yeah.
But what else do you think you can do in this regard to attract companies, attract trade?
We're already seeing it. If you don't know, there's a company, Core Weave, is headquartered in New Jersey, is growing around the world, but growing importantly in New Jersey. You put that in that little ecosystem alongside the Princeton State ecosystem, you're starting to see spider webbing of which happens, right? So that's why when you have a Microsoft in Seattle, it spawns a spider web of related activities, just like any industry. We're starting to see that. We're training our entire 61,000 member state workforce in AI. We're seeing real upskill opportunities. I think we're leading the nation in that respect. As you rightfully point out, we have a tax incentive program that's tailored specifically to AI. And we're trying to disintermediate sort of three of the biggest supply-demand imbalances that I've ever seen. I'm a recovering banker and diplomat, and I'm in my years in those professions, as well as currently as governor, I've never seen supply-demand imbalances like this in increasing order, increasing magnitude. AI-ready talent versus the demand for that talent, compute capacity versus the demand for that capacity, and energy demand versus embedded energy capacity. Ralph LaRosa is here, who is the chair of not only the group that is sponsoring our economic mission, Choose New Jersey, but the chief executive officer of one of the largest public utilities in America, PSE&G. I never thought we would spend as much time, Ralph, I think it's fair to say, discussing how do we reconsider nuclear capacity in New Jersey, which is the most densely populated state in America, but that's exactly what we're doing right now. So for all those reasons, led by talent, you can't make up, certain states, I don't want to name names, certain states, when they look in the mirror, they don't see STEM talent or STEM industry, innovation, ecosystem, heritage like we've got. And putting those pieces in place is always, I think, one of the keys, and that's what we're trying to do, and part of the reason we're here.
To follow up on that, a question on talent and then a question on energy. On the talent side of things, even the rest of the world feels this quite a lot, but the pulling power of Silicon Valley, the kind of network effects that it has, how do you counter that on the issue of talent? New Jersey's a charming place to be. I've enjoyed.
It's a word rarely used around New Jersey, but.
Well, I can recommend it. I'm sure you can too. But like, how do you draw and crucially keep the talent there?
Yeah. So the reason I mentioned we had a seminal dinner a couple of years ago in the Valley, and the reason why it was seminal, and this is, California's a great American state, got a great governor. Can't say enough good things about California, but when you ask this group of wise men and women in the AI space, why are you in the Bay Area? I got a long list of reasons why they'd prefer not to be in the Bay Area.
All right.
But the default was talent. We're here because of the talent. The talent is here. So we said, okay, and I think when I said we, I think New Jersey and New York City really are the relevant sort of East Coast hub reality. I think it's not just New Jersey. But we said, wait a minute, we've got that talent. And it's not just talent, it's that kind of talent. And what else do we need to put in place to sort of, if you're in my position as the conductor of the orchestra, how do you bring all the parts together? And clearly Princeton is a big piece of that. That's a statement move by both Princeton and by the state of New Jersey, investing in STEM talent. We've got a whole bunch of programs in the talent development side, including making sure that we have equity in this space. The woman who asked the question about the consumer, we care a lot about that. We also care about what this ecosystem looks like, and we're committed to, we're the most diverse state in America, we're committed to a diverse ecosystem as diverse as our state. So that to me is the building block. That's not to say that we're going to overnight displace the Bay Area. I think this data point is accurate. Over the past 5 years, there's somewhere between $20 to $30 billion of venture money into the Bay Area for generative AI. Specifically, second place finisher is New York City at $1 billion. So there's a lot of space to fill in there. We just vaulted up the VC tables in the first half of 2024. In terms of attracting venture capital, we came in third, behind only California and New York. So getting that, again, back to the orchestra analogy, getting all the various pieces to get in harmony and play together is I think, my job among others. And I'd say the progress is really good.
And you also mentioned energy, and you brought up nuclear as well. It's particularly relevant to New Jersey and CoreWeave. CoreWeave is going on a massive expansion drive to build data centers across the US, potentially the world. We're trying to work out how this highly energy-intensive technology can be built out. A lot of tech companies are now looking at nuclear. You sound very much pro this. So do we see nuclear power plants been sprung up across New Jersey. Should people be worried about this turn towards nuclear?
I think not is the quick answer. CoreWeave just announced, Ralph, a week or two ago, a big investment in Jersey that does not have nuclear implications, but we have among, if not the largest operating nuclear campus left in America, in South Jersey. So we start in a good place. And as I say, I never thought, my guess is Ralph never thought either, that a lot of our discourse would be around that. It's a big step, admittedly, between taking advantage of an embedded legacy campus, nuclear campus, versus even taking that step to the small modular reactors. I can't predict what that road looks like in New Jersey, but I'd be highly confident that that's going to be a reality, and it won't just be New Jersey. You've seen 3 Mile Island has been rebooted in Pennsylvania. The supply-demand imbalance is so significant, I think everything is on the table. People may be worried when they hear nuclear. Let's all remember it's carbon neutral. So if your alternative is a coal plant or a gas-fired plant, and again, we're the most densely populated state in America, the environment means a lot to us. That, to me, is an attractive element of the nuclear option. So we'll see. Of the nuclear option, that didn't come out right.
Yes. I also wanted to ask about how you're implementing AI across the government in New Jersey as well. Like you said in your earlier remarks, you've done a lot to try and get this as part of good government. Get civil servants to not see this as a threat, use this as a tool for themselves. But what do you think can be done with that that's ethical and safe as well?
A lot. I mentioned a few minutes ago we're committed to training all of our 61,000 workforce. I think we did a survey of the workforce, and that survey confirmed what we sensed, which is people really do believe that this is much more of an upskilling opportunity than it is a job replacement reality. And we're already seeing that. So you've got, I can't tell you how many complaints I get on. I called into your call center, it took me 2 hours to get through, or I sent an email and it took a week for somebody to reply. Well, what folks, when they make those complaints, don't see the other side of the trade, which is the colleague in state government who said, my God, I can't believe this many calls have come in, or I've got to answer these many emails, as opposed to doing some more value-added parts of my job. So there's a win-win opportunity. We think it's a very significant space where the consumer or the resident has a much better government experience. And on the other side of the coin, the worker in our state government gets to do the stuff that they've been prevented from doing all these years. We're seeing that actually in action. As it relates to ethics, less as it relates to workforce, although job replacement is something that we understand as a fear out there, less of an ethical issue than just a human nature issue. But part of the Princeton, New Jersey mandate is in fact to consider all aspects here, all dimensions, including ethics, including regulation, including workforce realities. So we are eyes wide open on all of the above and really excited about the potential.
And a last question then. You're in London, you're going to pitch New Jersey to London, to government, to companies. What's the pitch? What do you think you can do in terms of trade? What does that actually manifest itself as?
So we already start in a good place with the UK in terms of its presence in companies, jobs, investment, trade, et cetera. So it's building on that. If you look at our schedule, we'll be in London and Cambridge both. It skews heavily toward tech, bio, life sciences, Wilson Sonsini is sponsoring a roundtable with a bunch of health tech companies later on this afternoon. That's a theme that runs through our visit. Again, we're playing the hand we've been dealt. We are a big innovation economy. There's a big innovation economy here. I think subnational players, particularly coming out of Tuesday, are going to become even more important. Again, we start in a good space in terms of who we are. We're also a very international, very accessible state. And that matters to a lot of multinationals, a lot of startups. They're in New Jersey, or they're considering New Jersey, because we're welcoming. We've got the talent, we've got location, we've got a mindset that is global. We call ourselves the world's state, and there's a lot of evidence to back that up.
Well, Governor Murphy, thank you for making it over here at quite an interesting time in the
You're telling me, man.
Thank you so much.